Hey everybody, it's me, your bookman, and I'm doing something a little different here in a few circumstances. Well, a few instances. Few different ideas that I'm kind of fiddling with because I want to give you more content, fiddling, content here on this channel. But what you're seeing is my footage. This is my raw footage of me finishing up this god-awful Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Last Crown, whatever the fuck it's called, UbiSoft game that really was the tipping of the iceberg for me when it came to just my frustration with so many different aspects of arts, entertainment in the United States, especially, and overall. Now, I don't really want to get too deep into this because I want to give you the crux of my issues, more or less, with this specific game. But I never intended for my channels to be solely based on video games. When I first got onto YouTube, I was more complaining about the deplorable nature of Hollywood overall, and especially in the current day and age. And without any argument, I don't want people to sort of take this the wrong way, but Hollywood has always been a capitalist cash grab. It has always been about all-star casts, big titles to get the opening box office and maybe keep people inspired to spend money on it more and more based on some performances. But just that you know, real, legitimate artistic storytelling and writing is not making likable characters that you can root for. What it is, it's having a main idea, a plot, if you will. And I can get deeper into this at another time. But that plot typically should be a little bit more thought-provoking and a little bit more inspiring than what we've had in recent United States video games, Hollywood, whatever, movies, whatever it is, which more or less revolve around working together. The human race is the worst species on the planet, or let your kids do whatever they want. So aside from those three storylines, more or less, movies and what have you, it's just a bunch of stuff that happens. It's just indiscernible stuff that is thrown together in a mix with no real concept or any central point, especially not coming in the context of the material that is brought before you. So it's not good writing, it's bad writing, okay, most of it. And I'm sorry to tell you this, even though this might not adhere to your moral compasses, in the last 20 plus years, pretty much the only actual decent to good movies come from the Star Wars prequels and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't even say M. Night Shyamalan because he's more like a writer slash director that just finished a high school class and wanted to make movies. Like, he has the right idea fundamentally, but he sucks at what he does. So really, that's it. It's pretty fucking sad because whether or not you like, and there are a lot of bad movies I like too, because that's pretty much all you get from Hollywood anyway. Whether or not you like the movies, they're not well written. Sorry to tell you that. Those are the only ones, and I know that your Disney or Marvel Cinematic Universe is woke because they're focusing on female characters and making women look better than men and whatever. And the prequels don't have the likable characters you had from the original series, which are three really bad movies. But whatever the case, that's pretty much all you have. So I can't really review movies anymore. They're terrible. And I kind of get banned when I try it. I'm not rich enough or popular enough for both here on YouTube to be able to get away with that. So I had to kind of focus on video games, especially since Disney's sports is more about narratives and not actual competition, and focus too much on individual athletes, all of whom are so bad at the sport, they can't even play this dumbed-down version of any of these sports. So video games really are the only entertainment that you really have right now, and it's sad, but it's true. And it seems as though popular companies like UbiSoft or Rocksteady, who are Western biased or Western based specifically, tend to fall under three categories of game making. No, more like two. And one is this version, and the other is the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which is a dumbed down sort of third-person shooter or what have you that holds your hand and walks you through so you can watch their brilliant movie, which the people that write these screenplays or these scripts or whatever you want to call them and create these so-called stories, they have the audacity, these rich, suburban, spoon-fed jerk-offs, pretentious assholes have the audacity to call themselves writers when all they do is put together dialogue that they think sounds kitsch or chic or relatable to whoever they might be trying to sell these games to. That's not writing either. And then you have this piece of shit, which is falling under that god-awful category of trying to be Dark Souls. And here's the thing with From Software games, they're terrible, okay? They're ugly, they're slow, the combat system is atrocious. I know people like them. Hey, I used to love them too. But they really do focus on you being a sadomasochist to the sense that you just love torturing yourself. As you can see with this one boss fight, this was it for me. I was done. I was done with anything related to AAA gaming. I was done with anything related to this game. And I don't back out. I play through it, no matter how miserable it is of an experience, just so I can show you. But I stopped right here because, as you can see, this is like a From Software boss fight. You have certain tools and limitations, but your enemies do not. They just keep going after you, and your only respite is hoping they stop for a second so you can either get a hit in or catch your breath. So you have the movie video games, and you have the From Software ripoffs. And the From Software ripoffs, really, those are the ones I find to be most egregious because at least the movies you can get through, then look at it and say, boy, I wasted my life on that one, and move on. These just continue to hamper you with this ridiculous attempt to be way too hard and way too long. Prince of Persia, the series is a bunch of pretty quick games. They're like maybe an hour to 6 hours long. This one, 20 hours in with a map and a concept as to where I was going and everything. And all this progression because it tried to be a Metroidvania. And I love Metroidvania games. Do not get me wrong. It's one of my favorite genres. But in its attempt to be that, it just bloated the content to carry on with a storyline that more or less is bogged down to, yeah, men want power and humans are terrible. Once again, it was not fun. When it actually was at its best, it just simply was too long and slow, and I didn't feel like carrying on. Sometimes when I did progress throughout the course of the storyline and the agonizing gameplay, I kind of didn't feel like I was having too bad a time, but then you hit these brick walls. And I went through so much of this map, about 62% of the map, without going through the entire storyline, by the way. I went through about 62% of the map, finding every single side quest, every single piece of health increases, everything I could to boost my character up and be able to fight these bosses. And this was about the third or fourth, boss that I just was tired of. I got drained. Okay, I'm just sick and tired of these fucking games, and I'm sick and tired of AAA games. Now I'm just gonna give you this guarantee because I've been trying to just focus on Nintendo games, but this year's not been all that abundant in their announcements. I had the best time last year playing Pikmin 4, Advance Wars 1 and 2, Fire Emblem Engage, really Tears of the Kingdom because that was more focused on Western customers, and of course, what I finished with, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. These games I enjoyed, and you know what? They looked like cartoons. They didn't have much of a storyline, but I just got into the fucking game and just played a game. And that's what video games are supposed to be. They're supposed to be games. They're not supposed to be movies. They're not supposed to be art. They're supposed to be playable, fun, enjoyable games that pretty much anyone can pick up and play. Easy to play, hard to master. That's the extent of the difficulty. For instance, Divinity Original Sin 2. Played through a bunch of times. Was I any good at it? No, but I still was able to get through it. But it was the mastering of the game. The mastering of these games. That's the challenge. Not just trying to survive against something like this, which doesn't fucking end. And I'm sorry, folks, but one of the things that you need to be, if you want to actually consider yourself a writer, is concise. get to the point. Not this bullshit where we're trying to find the prince, only to find out that the prince was somebody else, and now he's being a dick, and he wants all this power, but he's strong enough to move time and space and resurrect his father and all this other stuff, but he's not strong enough. Like, I'm just bloating, overabundance, too much shit, not really necessary. I'm also trying to figure out when we had a pirate camp in Persia or Babylonia. Maybe we did, I don't know. A sea that's frozen in time, all this other stupid ass nonsense to just pad the runtime and give you at least 20 hours when it would have been more than fine by the end of 5. That is what this game was. So that is why I'm done. Okay, I'm finished. That's it. I'm not doing another AAA title, no matter how many cross-platforms they hit. It's just Nintendo games. And I'm telling you as a fact, I'm not going to force myself to feel this way. I just know that I've got 2 games coming up on my gaming channel. I'm going to do a preliminary review on this channel. Those are Donkey Kong or Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Princess Peach Showtime. And I guarantee that no matter how colorful the graphics are and beautiful, because, you know, that's another thing. Oh, they're beautiful graphics in Spider-Man 2 and whatever. Suicide Squad, they're beautiful. No, they're ugly. They're realistic, but they're ugly. And by the way, we should have seen it coming during the Arkham series with Rocksteady, because Arkham Asylum had more or less just Harley Quinn and maybe a little bit of Poison Ivy, and they were absolutely gorgeous. Arkham City had Catwoman, Talia al Ghul, Harley Quinn yet again, Poison Ivy, and they were beyond gorgeous. And then Arkham City, or Arkham Knight, huge map, way too much content, and the women were being plain Janed up. And you know that's a sign that your Western biased games are trying not to offend people with beautiful women, kind of like this game, where every woman was flat-chested and manly looking. Boy, I wonder who you're trying to appeal to. Maybe everybody? And in your attempt to appeal to everybody, you appeal to no one. I've been playing video games for 40 years almost. I have played every single type of game. There isn't a mechanic, there isn't a control system that has confused me or made me not understand or look down at my controller to see what I was doing. Not one game at this point has been any different than what I'm used to, and yet, this game broke me to the point where I just stopped playing. Okay? I just stopped playing. And as you can see, it's because this one boss fight, which was one of about 3 or 4 in this game, didn't want to end like the game didn't want to end. So, fuck AAA titles. I'm going to enjoy myself playing about 5 hours of Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Princess Showtiming. I am going to make a bunch of lewd comments when she does do her thing, because that's just who I am, and it's going to be a grand old time. So be there on Bookman Gaming and watch me enjoy myself for once playing these damn video games and trying to give you some kind of entertainment, because AAA titles can fuck off. They can fuck a goat, they can fuck their parents, they can fuck themselves. I'm done with them. Screw Ubisoft. Screw Rocksteady, screw anybody that wants to try to attempt to sell to every Western-based individual group. Fuck anyone working for Sweet Baby or any of these other pretentious wannabe writers. I'm done. It's over. So what's the review of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown? It sucks ass. Don't bother playing it. Don't bother getting it. It's a piece of shit. And when it comes to AAA titles, let that genre die. Just get a Switch, play Nintendo games or independent games, and these are pretty good too, some of them, if they're not trying to be all artsy-fartsy, and have a grand old time with your entertainment, not your art. I thank you all for watching, and more for you soon to come, so stay tuned, take care, and have a great day.